We've got another Wuben flashlight review today. This one's for the X1Pro, and I'm excited to do this one because it has a maximum of, can you see that? Let me get closer. 12,300 lumens. That's in the turbo mode. That's crazy. That is going to be a bright flashlight. So let's take a look at this thing. Let's unbox it really quick and see what we get. And then we'll go over the features. And I'll show you what it's like to use it in real world situations. So let's open it up. First of all, what do we have here? We have the manual. So they give you a manual, which is always a welcome addition instead of having to go to a website and look stuff up. I don't know about you, but that gets annoying. This is a beast of a flashlight. It is heavy. Goodness gracious, that's big. Alright, so let's put that down. What else do we get? We get a few accessories. Looks like we even get a belt holster. Yeah, I'm not going to wear this on my belt, but I will show you this accessory. So, looks like we've got a clip. How does that work? Okay. So it's got a clip like so. You put it on your belt. The belt goes through here. And then this, I guess the flashlight can fit in here. How? I don't know. How is this supposed to work? I guess something like that. All right, you put it on your belt, and yeah, that's going to pull your pants down if you don't have that belt cinched. Okay, so we have that. And what else do we have? Got some teeny tiny little screws. And I think we have a lanyard. Yep. We've got a lanyard here. The nice, I think that's metal. Little Wuben thing. Oh, hey, look at that. The lanyard is a USB-C to USB-C charging cable. Now that's kind of cool. That's a cool design. See how that's done? It's got these little clips here, and you just stick it in here and it's going to snap in place. That's nice. Hey, I like that. So this is everything that comes in the package. And we're going to have to charge this guy up. But before we do, let's just take a quick look around. Here we go. He is a heavy guy. Look right here. We have what looks like the battery compartment. And we got two giant batteries here. You can see what they are. Is that 21,700 milliamp hour battery? Or is it 48 milliamp hour batteries? Two of them. Yeah, I don't know. Wait a minute. Let me look at it real close. It's not. Okay, they're 48 milliamp hour batteries. So let's stick this in here. We want the plus. We want the minus. And we close it. And we can lock it like so. All right. So that's that. We have a hole right here for the lanyard. We've got some what look like heat dispersion grills, because this thing's probably going to get pretty hot. On this side we have the USB-C port for charging. Oh, that's the power button. All right, that's nice because it looks like it's easy to get to. Here we go. Here on this side, we have different modes, and it does say that it gets hot, and I can believe that. So we got different modes here, 3 different modes, and it was set by default to the middle mode. And it looks like it probably has a fan inside. If you flip the switch all the way to the top, to this setting, this is the spotlight mode. And the spotlight, if we look here at the light itself, let me try to get it out of the glare. This is the spotlight, and this is the floodlight. So a spotlight, it has 1 LED there. And this, if you can see it without the glare, has 4 LEDs. So when it's up like this, it is the spotlight. So the only light turning on is the one with the 1 LED. If you go to the bottom setting, that is the floodlight. When that is activated, the 4 LEDs will be the ones that are turned on. And if you want both, you put it in the center, and then the spotlight will turn on and the floodlight will turn on. The user interface for this light is pretty easy to remember. So first of all, we're going to set it on just the spotlight, which is this one light. And I want to show you that when you click it on, you can see it's a spotlight. Now, if you hold down this button that's blinking, it will cycle through the different settings. So I'm going to turn it on. And if I hold down the button, this is echo mode. Hold it down and it goes low, medium, high, and then back to echo. So that's the spotlight mode. Now if I turn this off and I go all the way down to the bottom, that is the floodlight. So if I click the button on here, you can see that it's more, the light is more dispersed, right? Than if I go back up to the spotlight, because you just see it's the spotlight right here. So let's go back down to the bottom. So now this is more dispersed, and if I hold down the light, it will cycle through the different settings. So that's echo, so you can see it's on, but it's pretty light. Now we got low, medium, high, and back to echo. All right, so let's turn it off. Now we're going to go in the center. And then, like I said before, if it's the center switch right here, you're going to get both the spotlight and the floodlights on. So if I press it once, it's going to be in the echo mode. So you can see everything's turned on. And as I hold it down, it will go low, medium, high, and then back to echo. There's also a strobe mode, so if you triple click, it's going to strobe. So if you have problems with strobing lights, don't look at it for a second. So I'm going to try that. There's that, okay? I've turned off strobe so you can look again. So now if you want to see the turbo mode, which is the brightest, and the brightest level is 12,300 lumens. To get that, you have to double click. So I'm going to double click now. And you're going to see how bright this is. Whoa, that is crazy bright. And then you can see that it is adjusting the light due to, this is going to like get hot. And I can already feel it being a little warm, but not hot. It can only run for like about 1 minute on turbo mode. So it has probably gone down to about 3,000 lumens right now. So let's turn that off. If we go back again, double click. Yeah, it's not coming back on that mode. So let's try to refresh this. So double click. Boom, bright. And you can see it's getting lower. It's adjusting the light. And it says here that it can only, I'm going to hold this up to myself, my microphone, so you can hear that? The built-in fan just came on. So, as I mentioned before, so it does get hot, and there is a built-in fan. I'm going to get my thermal temperature reader, and we're going to see how hot it actually gets. I have a Radio Shack infrared thermometer, and so I'm going to see how hot this guy actually gets. It's hot enough that it needs to have a built-in fan, so let's just see. So it's been sitting here not being in use for several minutes, so let's see what the temperature is. It says it's 75 after it's been sitting idle for a while. So now I am going to set it on the middle setting, which means that it's going to use the spotlight and the floodlight, all 5 LEDs, and I'm just going to put it on. Should I do turbo or should I just put like high? I guess I'll just put high. So right now it's on, and whoops, it's on. Let's hold it down. All right, it's high. I'm going to let it go for maybe, let me set my watch for like about 5 minutes, and then I will measure the temperature with this and let you know what it is. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, you can hear, I hope you can hear that the fan is on, so I'm going to turn this off. Let me pick this up. The handle's not hot. You hear that fan running? Okay, I'm going to turn this off, and now I am going to use this to see how hot it is. It's 114. Let's try this again. 102. This isn't like an exact science to get this to work right. 113. Let's put it over here on this side. 96. 96. 112. Okay, it is hot, but it's not burning hot. Yeah, it's not burning me. Let me see the other side. Okay, it is pretty warm, but it's not burning my skin. So the fan does what it's supposed to do by turning on when it needs to, and it does have these holes here and here to let the air out. And even if you set it down like I did, it is kind of offset, so it has this that keeps it up off the ground and this so that the air can go around it even when the fan is running. All right, so now let's check out what this is like to use in the dark, in the house if the power goes out, and outdoors at night. All right, I'm looking down my stairway, and we're going to pretend like the power's out, and we're going to use the flashlight and see how well it lights up my stairway if the power was out. And you can see that that is a lot of light, and now I'm going to go through the different lighting modes, and I've got both the spotlight on right now and the floodlight. So we're going to push the light again. We're going to go through the different settings. So this is the echo. This is the low, medium, and high, and back down to the echo and echo mode. So now I'm going to double click it, and we're going to see how bright it is in turbo. And boy, that is crazy bright. And now I'm going to put it up onto just the spotlight, and you see that circle? So that's how the spotlight works. Now I'm going to flip it down to the floodlight, and you can see how the light is more dispersed that way. And then if you hold down the light, you can switch between the different brightness levels. Okay, so now let's go outside and see how well the light travels. Okay, now we're outside and it's dark, as you can see, and I'm going to turn on the light, and let's see what I got it on. I have it on spotlight right now. We're gonna see how far the light travels. Now that's the echo. There's low, medium. I think there's deer. Is there deer down there? Yeah, there are deer down there. Look, can you guys see that? Oop. That's funny. All right, so now I'm going to put it on the setting where both the spotlight and the floodlight are on. And then you can see there. Let's go through the different settings. Oh, you can see the deer. That's neat. And let's see what it's like just to go. That is floodlight. You can see all the gnats too. And now we're going to go back up to both. You can see it changed a little bit. And then that's just the spotlight. And you can see the circle of light. All right, so now I'm going to turn that off. You can hear the deer running around. And I've got both the floodlight on and the spotlight. And I'm going to double click to go turbo to see the really bright setting. And you can see, if you look way down there in the center, that's all the way to the back of the property, and that's pretty far away. And if you go looking this way, you can see into the wood line and everything. So it is a very bright light. And if you need to use it at night, it is going to help you find your way. Okay, we're back with the Wuben X1Pro flashlight. And although they call this an EDC flashlight, it's definitely not something that I would put in my pocket and carry around with me every day just because it's so heavy. But it is a versatile light. It is really bright, 12,300 lumens in turbo mode. Now you just have to realize that that turbo mode is not going to last but a minute or two according to the manual here. And let me check just to make sure I can tell you right. Now, when you have the turbo mode, when you're using the spotlight and the floodlight both together to get that 12,300 lumens, that's only going to work for about 1 minute. That's right, at the fullest 12,300 lumens. After 1 minute, it goes down to 5,000 lumens, and in 1 more minute, it will then go down to 3,000 lumens, where it will shine for an hour and 7 minutes. So, you know, it's going to take a lot of power to use that 12,300 lumens, and you're only going to get it for a minute. So it's like something that you would just like, hey, I'm out in the woods and I heard something. Let me see if I can brighten up the situation so I could see what the heck it was. Was it Bigfoot or was it a deer like in my yard, right? So for everyday use, you're going to be using the normal modes, which you can get a smaller, lighter weight flashlight that will work for you better, probably, at those lower modes. Not saying that there's anything wrong with using this as a, let's see, 1200 lumen, 1800 lumen, or 3000 lumen at high mode. That was going through the different options, spotlight with flood, and flood. I mean, so there are some trade-offs. You can have the weight and the length of time that you can shine it with turbo. And it does have fan noise. Once this light has been running at those higher lumens, the fan's going to turn on. If you're going to use this like to be stealthy, you know, well, you're not going to be stealthy, I guess, if you have a light on. So forget that comment. But it's a very nice light. For the price, I think it's worth it. It's well made. This thing is, like I said, it's a beast. It's got a metal housing. And according to Wuben, their website, they have a 30-day return policy, and they have a 5-year warranty on this light. So that's something to keep in mind. Not all flashlight manufacturers will give you that kind of a warranty. I really like Wuben because they think outside the box with a lot of their lights. They're definitely not boring. They have a lot of good features. And I do like that it comes with the batteries, and the batteries are rechargeable, and the user interface is not difficult to figure out. What do you think? Is this a light for you? Do you want to buy one? If you do, I'll have the link in the description below. And if this review was helpful to you, or if it entertained you, did you get a kick of seeing those deer in my yard? Sometimes we get turkey, and we have seen coyotes, possums, and what else? Raccoons. That's the whole menagerie of wildlife that comes in my yard. If the review was helpful, if you liked it, please consider giving me a thumbs up, or maybe putting a comment in the description below. Let me know what your favorite flashlight is, your favorite heavy-duty one. And subscribe. I'll have more reviews of EDC products and all kinds of other gadgets coming up. I've been posting about twice a week, and I'm going to continue with that frequency of videos as I have things to review. Hope you liked it. And as always, I hope you have a great day.